Hello there. Hey, I was coming back for one more Alchemy 8 Part 4 because there was so much. There was so much that I got in this last little while with strength and just like with what I've been working with, my inner conflicts and claiming my own power, honoring my own power, and being willing to own it, yeah, and value it and express it, yeah. And so there's so much that I want to say. That I've gotten so much in the last couple days, but yeah, so much since I started working with strength and the Hanged Man and the Wheel and the Devil. Oh my gosh, the Devil is so great to work with too, and it made so much sense about all the challenges and kind of taking myself too seriously, kind of getting stuck in my own rigidity about certain things, like at the same time seeing that and looking into it, like being able to observe it and witness it and yeah, be curious about it, but not like really condemn or judge it. And so there was a couple other archetypes that came up for me during this week or this last couple days, and one of them was death, the archetype of death, and that's number 13. It's death. So, and then the moon, of course, the moon. We just had our eclipse and full moon. Yeah, there's the moon, number 18. That's like connected to the reflection of the sun and also the shadow of the earth, and like the underbelly of the darkest, deepest shadow. And then justice is key 11. Yeah, and that one just kept coming up for me, and I wasn't like exactly sure why, but it felt like, yeah, it felt like it was wanting to speak. And so I picked up my book today and just looked into it for a minute, and yeah, I got a couple things about the 11 and about how the one and the one is the lower one and one is the higher one, and they both link together to create a space for the third, or the third point of view. And so yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's so many things what wants to be said about all this magic and yeah, the breakthroughs that I did have. And yeah, so yeah, I was having some struggles and some inner conflicts, and one part of me knew and knows that all is right and it's all okay. Like really just wake up and play, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to be and play and create. And so yeah, and learn, yeah, to know ourselves, to love ourselves, to be ourselves, to free ourselves. And so one part of me knows that like everything's okay and everyone's on their path and everyone's on their own journey and everyone's right where they're supposed to be and they're right where they're at, and it just gets to be what it gets to be and all of that. But there was another part of me that was so resistant to allowing things and people, or people I care about, or my loved ones, and like kind of what the outer stage looks like. Just kind of had some expectations and agendas of how I want things to be and how I want things to seem or maybe unfold or be. And so like obviously it's just wanting to prevent certain plans from unfolding, and seeing those plans, you know, hurt a lot of people, or hurt and dishonor life and our expression, our true expression, and like our potential, the potential that we have to claim and to express and to discover and to be and to manifest. And yeah, so I did finally face my fears. I was getting a lot of different symbols about things, and yeah, they all do correspond too with like the archetypes that I'm working with and the astrology, which I realized was so cool because of what I'm doing with my dreams and my writing and my art, and then just like my archetypal play stuff. It's all a reflection of the dance of the heavens, and it's so cool how it does actually, like, it all corresponds and it all relates and it all connects. And it's so funny, just like, yeah, with all the planets that are doing their thing and everything that was coming up for me and through me, like, I can totally see how it relates, and it's just the trippiest thing. And I was getting some like super amazing insights like yesterday and last night, and it was just like a stream all day. And I wrote about 13 pages in my journal, and so I thought that was kind of funny too. But yeah, I did want to talk about like the wheel and strength and the devil before I bring in a couple of the new archetypes. And for my next alchemy video, I'm going to do number 9, and I am going to focus on the hermit, which is key number 9. And yeah, that's a great archetype right now. I've been going within more, and yeah, kind of withdrawing from the external stuff a little bit. And it really has been like what I needed, and helped me to clearly see some things that I wasn't able to see before. So yeah, I made this little thing like a couple years ago, and you probably won't be able to see like any of it because it'll probably be reversed and stuff, but it's about the wheel, and yeah, all these different correspondences of all the different wheels there are. And one of them is the Wheel of Fortune, and that's patience, riches, poverty, glory, humility, war, peace, and passion. And so, yeah, I couldn't remember them like a couple videos ago, but that's what they are: patience, riches, poverty, glory, humility, war, peace, and passion. So, spinning around on that wheel. I did some investigation on what my real fears were, and I knew like I had an ego agenda. Like, that's okay, like we all have agendas, and our ego is part of our self, so we can like operate in this dimension. And so yeah, just becoming aware of certain things and understanding them a little more fully, and that was what really helped me like understand what my inner conflict was about. And it was kind of, yeah, something that related to my first alchemy video, where that was one of the things I was kind of working on, like the need to understand and the need to be understood, or my fear of not being understood. And then my struggle with my meditation, that looked like I was a cutout, just making noise, but like no one could comprehend. There wasn't any coherence, you know, like that kind of a thing. But yeah, that was just the cut off part, or the separate part, or the illusion that we were all cut off from each other and cut off from source. And then when I realized that that's not true, like we all are connected, we all belong to each other, we all do have a connection to source and to everything that we need. And so like that like crystallizes everything, and that helps illuminate like what's true and what's more aligned for me. Yeah. And also like just being open to that remembrance, it does like shift the perspective, shifts my perspective when I remember, oh yeah, because God is the light, the mirror, and the reflection. Not just the reflection, but the light, the mirror, and the reflection. That's like a Trinity thing to me. And so, yeah. But I got to write down, I wanted to share, if I can find it, what I got the other day, because it felt like why is it such a need to wake people up? Like, I mean, I want them to wake up so that they can be aware and they can take care of themselves, and they can choose and see and understand and claim all they need for themselves, instead of like listening to like deceptive trickery, like really is what it is, but have like very sinister motives and agendas for control and domination. And yeah, it's like parasitic stuff. So like obviously that like bothers me like a lot, like where I don't want to see us be fed on anymore and like be dishonored. And so that was just like one of the things. It's just like really important for me to help other people understand and help people see what's going on. And but it was connected to like my fears of what I don't want to see happen, and an outcome that I'm attached to. And so I got to release those, let those go, let go of the outcome that I'm attached to, and just let it be all it is, which one part of me knows that it's fine. Yeah, one part of me knew that it was just fine. But another part of me was really having a hard time with it. And so I just got to like go into how I was feeling and just express some things. And I wrote out a bunch of little things that helped me to see, and I'm just gonna like just read a little bit and share a little bit, and we'll see where it goes. And so just asking myself questions about some things, and like, what is it about wanting rapport or just goodwill, peace, understanding? Maybe just ease. Is that just the natural instinct to relax into love with another for authentic allowance and exchange, hospitality? But be attached maybe in a way to that need and settle for false comfort and belonging. That's false peace and false security, false ease, and a illusory sense of safety and well-being for true, like replaced for true intimacy and authenticity. Is it a substitution of true needs being met, acknowledged, honored, or seen? Or boundaries not being set? Do we simply not know any better? Is it an old pattern of survival to please or conform? Or a natural need of belonging, like being exploited, forgetting who we are? So like, yeah. Is that used against us sometimes because it's our need to belong? Because we need each other. Yeah, we all want to belong together. We all want a place where we can be, be received. And so is that being exploited through different values and virtues and beliefs? And I believe it is. And so just forgetting, though. It's just forgetting who we are and forgetting that we do belong. Yeah. And so being misled, misdirected through the desire force, through fear, through lust, through ego flattery, vanity, and misplaced trust. Misplaced responsibility and misdirected energy, trying to force, trying to dominate, trying to control, usurp, distract, bind. Why are we trying to force peace and safety and dominate nature and her life? Manipulate through the pain body and emotional energy, through our attention, our creative energy, and our imagination. Fear and disconnected, limited perceptions, forgetting the perfection of life, waiting for a savior outside of ourselves to come to the rescue, a knight in shining armor, or a guard, tyrant, ideal fantasy, or safety, security, dressed up as surety, certainty, morality, righteousness, correctness, salvation, absolute truth, rigid protection, suppression, repression, oppression, depression, isolation, separation, disconnection, cut off, hacked and frozen, static, reactive, programmed to go along, to get along, automatic motion, deceptive scripts in motion, problem, reaction, solution, If you're waiting for a vaccine, a virtual cage, masks, and state mandates to keep you healthy and safe, then you are already a programmed slave to the groupthink herd hive mind mentality. If you've forgotten your link and connection to the earth and the cosmos and the beauty, wholeness, and wellness of her natural intelligence, the healing arts of the sacred feminine on all she is, and your place, our place, her place within the whole, as a whole being within the whole, then we've forgotten who we are. So please remember who you are. Please remember who we are. Please remember who I am. Be the love we need. Be the love you need. Be the love we need. All is well. And so it's like telling me, please remember who you are. Remember who you are. And that's like been a huge thing too, like remembering. And at the first part of the month in June, I was getting like a lot of different archetypal visions and like myths coming in, things I was seeing in my space and things that related and symbols. And one of those myths was Osiris and Isis. And of course, yeah, that has a synchronicity to Temperance as well. And yeah, so if you're familiar with the Osiris and Isis myth, where she resurrects him, he's killed by his brother who wants to usurp his kingdom. And his 14 body parts are hacked and severed and spread across like Egypt. And it's 14 different body parts. Yeah. And so Isis is devastated and mourning her loss, and she's searching like the entire earth to bring back her beloved. And so she's journeying and collecting all of his dismembered parts. And then she gathers all of his parts together. And there's one part that's missing though, and that's his penis. Yeah, because in some myths, a crab, kind of took it away and ate it, or a fish took it away. So that's interesting, like symbolism to look at what those animals might teach us about, about the water too, and about, that part of the organ. Yeah, so I like to see a little bit more into that, but I just think it's kind of funny. But yeah, there was 14 parts, but one part was fashioned out of a magical wood from a tree. I can't remember what tree it was, but yeah, so she fashioned him a new penis. And she assembled all of his parts back together, and she sung to him and breathed life back into him. And then he was resurrected, and he was remembered. She remembered him, and he was remembered, and he remembered himself. And so yeah, I like that. Like, I like looking into like that story, and it's like, yeah, it's profound for me. So yeah, that was interesting, like death and temperance and that kind of stuff, and how they correspond. But yeah, so I was feeling like some really, like, obviously it's the collective and it's mine too, just like frustration and like just summer heat too. Like, what do you do with all this energy, and if it's misdirected, it might feel, like we have to protect ourselves in some more ways, or we might be like vulnerable to attack sometimes. And so sometimes it's kind of funny, where we're ready to fight, but we're actually like welcoming the fight or instigating the fight. So, or just with the chip on our shoulder or whatnot. But this is what I was feeling like I want to say some things today. Feeling fiery, spicy, saucy, but aware. Feeling contractions, anger, irritation, resentment, fear, hostility welling up, or hostility well up, aggravation, impatience, urgency, and anxiety. Maybe it is a passive aggressive thing. Passion aggression? Yeah. Feeling like my passivity has made me into a martyr, and now I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of being a victim or an accomplice. And I'm tired of suffering for my sins or others' sins that they project or they insist are everyone's to carry. Or both mine and theirs to carry. And so fuck the guilt trips. Heal yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself, free and be yourself, claim yourself, all yourself, own and free yourself, know yourself and love yourself, receive yourself and allow yourself. And so there was some pity coming up too, like from that dream. Like, man, this sucks that we're going in this direction. Like, yeah. So the pity is sad, self-pity, look into that. Self-importance and not taking responsibility or accountability for actions, choices, and energy. Pity party. Poor me, victim. What does she need to say? What does the martyr victim want to say? She seems to be crying about the circumstances, the rain on the path, the mud, the storm. She asked for it. She created the clouds and the drama. She ignored the signals and the signs. She stirred up the thoughts of service to self, to get off, to get the ego off. Addicted to this pattern? What is this about? Not really seeing how we create our own reality of suffering through not really seeing. And okay, so what is it about? It's about not really seeing how we create our own reality of suffering through judgments, ideals, descriptions, expectations, disallowance, condemnation, agreements that we have, beliefs and perceptions. Where do we focus our attention? Misdirection and disconnection. Rejection of what is being offered, showed, revealed, and given, reflected, shared, penetrated, unfolding, becoming, in motion, expressing, playing, being. So, yeah, that was one thing that I was getting. It's all a dance. It's all a dance. Like this month, it was like it's a dance, and like the dance of destruction and creation, and yeah, all of that. And is it independence or is it avoidance? And it's kind of funny, like looking into that avoidance, and independence. So yeah, there's some kind of funny things that went along with that, like with all the archetypes. So oh yeah, there was so many things. A couple days ago, I went to go get this new fun rainbow hair of mine done. And yeah, just been feeling like the rainbows too, the rainbows and the sunshine and the light refracting, reflecting. And yeah, it's so funny. It was a huge expectation, like, and it was kind of funny to get like all this done in one day. Like there was a lot to do, and I kind of knew like that it was okay, like not to force anything and just like to let everything come through like as it was going to. And it was funny because I didn't have expectations, and I was just like, let's be up for an adventure, because adventure is a word that's been coming up. Like, let's make it an adventure. Like, wake up and play, fucking A, it's okay. Wake up and play, it's all okay, just play. Yeah, it's all God at play. And so yeah, just play and just show up and play and just be, okay? And so I had a really nice time with one of my good friends. She's also my hair goddess stylist. And yeah, it was just kind of funny how things just didn't seem like they were like syncing up. So it was like, it was good not to have expectations and just be like, okay, this is what it is. We're just gonna go for a ride and we'll see where this goes, and we'll see what we can do. And it was funny at the end of the night. It was okay though, because I was like, yeah, we can be easy on ourselves and not expect too much. Like if it needs to be finished on a different day, that's what we get to do, and that's okay. And so it was awesome because like yeah, it showed me like for 2 days, like while I was in transition, and it's kind of funny, and it was all blonde. It was fun. It was fun to just have blonde hair, but I knew it was going to be something else. But I was like, yeah, this is transition, and just work with it, and just be with it, and just play with it. And so I just had like a lot of fun. I had like some freaking Viking hair, like a French braid up on top, and like 2 braids, and I was a Viking warrior princess queen, and that was so funny. Because it was just like, it wasn't even me, but it was me, and it felt like me, and it was just so funny how it was, and how I was, and how life is, and how she gets to be, and what she gets to become. And so it was like kind of teaching me and telling me about transition. Like, it's all okay, it's in transition, just let it be in transition. Like, just be patient, like, and just be with it. Yeah. And so, yeah, just that little, like, yeah, this is okay. And just having fun with it, and kind of taking on like an alter ego where like I did feel like a badass, and I did feel like, okay, like I can claim my power, and I am a warrior, and like, yeah, and just be aware use discernment and restraint and set your boundaries and yeah, just love your ways. So all of that. So transition, just being in transition and being patient and being allowing and receptive. So receptive to what can be, receptive to what is, receptive to what shall be or what will be. So hey, that was kind of like really a cool thing for me to receive and like just to be with. So, and I was challenging myself in certain ways, like to see certain things about like why is it such a big deal, because I've been working on this for a while too, and I have like gone through layers and layers and layers of it, where it's like, why is it such a big deal to me that people see what's going on, or they see like what I see, or that they can just even ask themselves, like, and go within and ask themselves, ask their heart. And I don't know, yeah. It's just because I was attached, like, to things not being the way that they are right now, or like in the way that I fear they might go. And so, yeah, I get to look at that and play with the devil a little bit. Yeah. So, well, oh, well, LOL, oh me, I guess I'll just go down to hell and collect my little devil self and help her be her whole full self and know that she is right to be herself. Her whole true self, her little large big self, true self, full self, real self, whole self, free self, love self, free self, self-love. Just silly self, silly love. Oh yeah, and it was so funny too, where I was writing some stuff about the devil plan and about us being all fools playing in our stories and stuff. And then I got like some insights about the I-N and the A-N, like the Hebrew letter I-N, A-Y-I-N. And it was kind of funny when I was just writing, it showed me playing, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it just like was a awesome, funny synchronicity. And then, my friend that did my hair gave me this little eye purse. And that was kind of funny because the eye keeps coming up in certain ways. So it's just fun how it all plays, how God plays through us, and yeah, it's so funny. And I realized as well, like looking into some things, yeah, when I was talking about the symbols last time, that symbols are a living language, and I looked more deeply into that, and I realized that that's what we are. We're a living language. We're a living language, a living expression of love, of divine love. That's us. That's who we are. How cool is that? Insights. Ian. Interesting connection that I just kind of had. The devil challenging me through my lenses to widen my perceptions, change tune and direction, claim the victim, laugh and play with the victim and the devil too. Got my goat, oh yes it's true. It was all really, really all about you and all you choose to view, consume or contribute to, how you choose to view you, all you choose to view through, consume, focus on, give your energy to, give your power, focus attention to, authority, creativity to, love, consent, agreement, intention, word, will, life, and gifts too. All you choose for you, all you serve for you, all you love for you, all you are for you. Express that joy as a living language of love songs, life's fullness, God's gifts, love and power to be, give, and live. So, live for you and live your love. Live for you and live for love. Those in true poverty are those that deny their own riches, their own power within to give and receive, create, share, express, and be, and belong. So, I was doing some investigations, and I was like, I was feeling like, who is this part? What's coming up now? Because, it's just kind of funny how it all comes in sometimes. And it's just like, that's interesting. What's that about? Instead of like telling myself, oh, it's about this. It's just like, just kind of observing and witnessing and like listening and kind of watching, observing. So I was asking myself questions, and I reminded myself to play. And it's all about Alchemy 8, the wheel, the devil, the hermit, and strength, and going in to wake up and play. So I said, who's the mad one? Who's the crazy one? Who's the fool? Who's angry? And who's cool? And I realized, around this time, I was like, I felt like I need to declare like what I want and what I claim and what I choose for me. And so I thought declarations were really important, and it didn't even really like, I didn't make the connection between the Declaration of Independence or Independence Day until later, like where this is just what wanted to come through, because it was like, what is mine and what is not mine? Because really, like, I'm willing to let go of what isn't mine, and then I'm willing to like really receive all that's mine and allow all that's mine and be with all that's mine. So I really kind of had to go through this and really like kind of sort through and sift through, like separate the wheat from the chaff and stuff. So I did start to write some things down, like, your reality is not my reality, your fears are not my fears, your sins are not my sins, your agenda is not mine, your agreements are not mine, your expectations are not mine, your culture is not mine, your God is not mine, your false force morals are not mine, your judgments are not mine, your stories are not mine, your bullshit isn't mine, your baggage isn't mine, your trauma isn't mine, your burdens are not mine to carry, your emotional garbage is your own, it is not mine. So it's just like feeling like really like people were being pushy, and they're being like their own little tyrants and dictators, where people can't even have like another thought in their head, and it's just all about assumptions and about like what's morally right or correct. And so it's just that was a little bothersome and didn't like feel very comfortable, and so I'm just like, I don't really like that, no thank you. So it's like, what can I do with that? So it's just writing. It feels like people just want to shove their heads up their asses and hide away. Is this the mask that we use to hide pain? So this is the asshole mask. So like thinking about the masks that we wear, and like metaphorically our metaphorical masks, and then like seeing all the masks and the mask holes out there. And this is this the asshole mask, the wounded child? Is the asshole a little orphan child, a traumatized, suffering inner child, unincluded, exiled, victimized, wounded aspect, God on trial? And so, victim, child, saboteur, horror, villain, asshole, bitch, tyrant, mental, unstable, unhinged, the power of anger. Dragon rider, dragon slayer, dragon mother, liberator, dragon fire, liberator, tyrant, queen, boss. Is she a queen, a boss, or a victim, an enslaver, a servant, a pimp, or an accomplice, a savior, a martyr, a murderer, or an unwilling witness, a redeemer or usurper, empowered or disempowered, a protector or a jailer? So, because the dragon has been a huge archetype and companion of mine. And the dragon is helping me, and dragon's one of my guardians. So dragon and the dragon fire, and the fires of transformation, and the fires of hell. And all of that. The cold fire as well. So that all has to do with like Kundalini and the serpent and wisdom and getting grounded as well. And so that was one thing that I got to do as well. Let's get a little more grounded. And that's what Swan was helping me with, was getting a little more grounded. And like, all that good stuff. And shape-shifting different things as well. And Crow is showing up in Raven, and that's pretty cool. Shape-shifting things. And so I feel like that's what I do with my writing too. That's what I'm doing, shape-shifting. And so going back and forth, mood swings, emotions roiling, conflicting, rage, indignation, ferocity, ready to fight, challenge, defend, feeling anger, self-righteous hostility, a strong need to put my foot down and draw a clear line in the sand. Fuck this, fuck the bullshit, fuck your limitations, blind spots, and lack of imagination. That's how I feel in my frustration. Idiots, useful idiots, wake up from your checked out vacation, pull your heads out, and challenge your effing indoctrination and your own self-righteous, prideful ego agendas, bullshit projections, moral corrections, and your pushy hypocrisy are distorted and false virtue signaling your need to please, preserve image, and reinforce self-survival strategies, or ego self-survival strategies. So what is my bullshit? Where am I giving my power away if this story is so charged with currency? It's triggering me, expectations and exile, self-importance, pedestal ideals, frozen and static authority. So am I my own author? Or what is it? False idols, false ideals, false morals, false values, false assumptions, false pride, false light, forcing, coercion, manipulation, control, and domination, all justified in the name of the right. Self-righteous bullshit, false humility, false sight, false virtue, false image, false self, false light, false life. Fraud, saboteur, liar, amateur, pretender, defender, roll over, surrender. Self-doubt, self-loathing and hatred, agony, defeat, failure, disconnection. What is love offering or asking for? What wants to be included, loved, forgiven, or released? What is asking for acknowledgement, permission, and integration? What is asking for permission to be? Fully allowed to be freed, realized, seen, released, valued, redeemed, renamed, unnamed, reclaimed, expressed, and known, freed. So what is this power asking to be reclaimed, honored, loved, included, harmonized, purified, renewed, and revived? So, like, yeah, a lot of archetypes are coming up for me, and it's just kind of funny. They're all of them. It's like freaking all of them at once. And it's just so, wow, blown away with how they're all, like, playing their different parts, and they're all related, connected, and intertwined, like, yeah, in each other, in and through each other. And so the victim, like, there's a couple, like, things that related to the victim to me, like, because I was depending on people around me to wake up and see what's happening so that something can change. And that's just not, something that I want to hold on to anymore, because I'm done, like, with that. And I was just wondering, like, why is it so important for me to wake them up? Like, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Please wake up, please wake up, please wake the fuck up now. Like, Jesus. And it's like, yeah, I don't know how. Like, so I asked to see a little bit more into that, and I actually did. I saw the wake up, like the wake up script, as a parrot that was going, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And then I realized it was a parrot. And then I realized it was a program, that it was just on repeat. And so I was like, okay, well, I can let that go now. I'm ready to let that go now. Like, because some of me totally was already over it, but like some of me wasn't. And so, yeah, it was funny how it came up, and I was like, oh, there you are. It's a program. And so I was like, okay, I've now released the need to wake anyone up. I'll just ask myself to awaken, and awaken to the goddess, and awaken to the goddess within me, and realize what I can see for me. And how about instead I'll agree that I'll encourage people to be true to themselves, and love for themselves, and do what they feel like they need, instead of wake up, or like, come on, like, seriously. I mean, it's okay for me to still call out bullshit when I see it, but use discernment and restraint. And so, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like with temperance too, like, is tempering the wisdom. And like, I needed to go through like some of this to see like what creates what and what creates that, you know, what choices create, and how to redirect that so it's more in alignment and everything. And so, yeah, it was kind of funny just giving myself permission to learn, to make mistakes, but like be as aware as I could be, and just like give me a break and give the other a break too, and like still have all of this room, make all of this space for all of my feelings to still be there, so I could look at them and explore them and excavate, and kind of cultivate cultivate something new, like use it to create something new through. And I did ask myself, what needs to die? Like what's ready to die in my life or be released so something new can be born, or so I can welcome in new life. Yeah. And so with the victim, like there's different little things that I got about the victim connected to the victim: the manipulator, the prude, the idealist, the judge, the saboteur, the wounded child, and the whore. And so those things like all kind of related in certain ways, like with why this whole thing was bothering me so much. Even though I know like on one side of it, everything's fine. But like in another way, if it keeps coming up to like really aggravate me and it kind of consumes me, like it's time to look at it and really, get to know it and face it. So that's what I got to do and choose. But all of these other archetypes were coming up too. Like the warrior was coming forward, and a new archetype called the sovereign, the master, the servant, devotee, the water bearer, the creator, the innovator, the artist, the player, the actor, the clown, the fool, the magician, the apprentice, the teacher, the student, the high priestess, the empress, the martyr, the miser, the mother, the protector, the lion, the protector of the young and innocent, the devil, the challenger, and the idealist, the better than you, LOL attitude, the rebel and the leader, the queen, the perfectionist, the judge, the villain, the communicator, the author, the poet and bard, the orphan, the epicure, the ghost, the slave, the addict, the hedonist, the ascetic, and the caregiver and the asshole. Yeah. So that was like a lot of different archetypes that I was playing with, and they were all doing their thing. So it's funny, all working together. And so there was another story that was, coming up to my awareness too. And it's like, that story of justification or justify, and why you should see me as right. And like, why is that so important to be seen as right? Or why do we need to be right? Like, why is that one of our like major agendas, to be right or having to be right? And like, that was one of my old stories that I worked on years ago. Like I did a lot of work on that story, but obviously it came up for me like on another level and another layer for me to work with. And it was kind of funny. I know like what that's about, like having to be right, needing to be right. For me, it was because I always felt wrong. I felt like I was a wrong being wrong for being wrong for being me, just wrong for being. And so like, of course that's why like, please see me as right. Please see like, because I already feel so wrong, kind of a thing. And then I realized, oh, I'm a right being and all of me is right to be. And so like a lot of that, like I was able to let go of. And it was kind of funny, like before the last couple months, I don't think it was as extreme as it is right now, like to prove ourselves right, or like, to prove ourselves in some way that we're legit or that we're right. And I had a question, like, is that the only way to justify my own life, is if I'm seen as right, or if someone gives me that validation that I'm right? And like, are we all like kind of like in that script, in that program, like why I need to be right, why you should see me as right, because it's the only way that I can justify my own life? Like, is that something? Is that an insight? I don't know. If I'm only seen as right. And that's like just disallowing of the fullness of all we are, because it's okay to be wrong and it's okay to be different, like it's okay to have another experience. And so like, who's to say, like in certain ways, if we experience like say a car accident, we're not going to experience the same car accident, we're not going to be affected and impacted in exactly the same way, but we will be able to relate about how we felt maybe, or like the things we needed to heal or certain things like that. But it's not going to be like the exact same experience and all that. And so just remembering all that, like, yeah, it's so much more than we can kind of perceive sometimes. So, and I just wanted to find, yeah. So yeah, looking at the archetypes, the masks, and the allies. So idealist, perfectionist, fraud, prude, nitpicker. The nitpicker that's always looking for what's wrong, because it just can't be right if there's one little thing wrong with it. And that's, yeah, she's been coming up a little bit too. And I just realized, oh yeah, let's focus on what's right. You know, like what's right about this instead of what's wrong, because you can always find what's wrong about anything. It's what you look for, really. I mean, it's good for us to see like the limitations and what gets to be confronted and all of that. But like, yeah, sometimes it's our attitude or the way that we see things. That's mostly our problem with it, you know, mostly our block to seeing clearly through it. And so, the asshole's been coming a lot out lately. It's kind of funny in lots of different ways, but I think it's just like another kind of spin on the devil, on the challenger, on the adversary that we don't like. So, the asshole, the wounded child, the orphan, the caregiver, and the people pleaser. So, yeah, it's kind of funny how that works in certain ways, and I'll let you like look at that in your own ways. The queen, boss, tyrant, servant, ruler, master, warrior, slave, victim, martyr, miser, tyrant, judge. It's a holy, perfect mess for me, and messages of love for me. Tee-hee, I claim my mess with love for me. I claim my love for all of me. The will, the miser, the victim stories. Best messages and stories for my soul's growth and alchemical unfolding. Yes, a living language, waiting for reception. Everything alive and talking to you, if you'll be still and listen. The hermit's inner wisdom, go within and claim your inner kingdom. Vision, listen, wisdom. Welcome in your inner fission, going through some huge transitions, stewing in fermentation in my own well. Experience the process of my own crucifixion. My stage of transformation, yeah, through my own well. My vessel, my chariot, my chalice, the water bearer, my dark night of the soul, and tempering of wisdom. Traveling through purgatory or places in between, multiple perspectives, holding the tension in between, surrendering resistance, opening and allowing to face my own true crucifixion. The meeting of my shadow and my unclaimed power aspects, burning through the fires of her love's initiation, dancing in the flames, facing ego's annihilation, meeting Ereshkigal's death stare, willing to be. Willing to be chosen. God the devil and Capricorn. Saturn, Cronus, I'm the wheel. Asshole, challenger, rebel, outlaw, alien, friend, sovereign. So those archetypes kept coming up for me. And so many synchronicities. It was just so funny. Oh yeah. And then yeah, saying yes to it all. Yes to it all. Remembering to say yes. Remembering that, yeah, begin with yes. Like, it's okay for me to say no. Like, totally. No to your bullshit, but yes to my own free will, my own sovereignty, my own learning, my own growth, all of that. So focus on yes. Like, what's my yes? What's my right? You know? I mean, it's perfectly fine and great and essential to be aware of all of it. But, like, where we put the focus is where we direct our attention. So that's, like, where I got to redirect in certain ways. And, yeah, saying yes to it all. And then, like, the next day, I picked up my Joseph Campbell book again. And it was just like, exactly on stream and synchronicity with what I needed to see. And it was like, get in there and do your thing. Don't worry about the outcome. Recognize sorrow as of the essence. When there is time, there is sorrow. We can't we can't rid the world of sorrow, but we can choose to live in joy. And so that went along like perfectly with the Hanged Man, the stuff I was getting about the Hanged Man and samsara and the torrent of time and nirvana, like the breath being blown out. The breath that enlivens the world is blown out of you. Nirvana and samsara. This is kind of funny. And the surrendering to death. Like the death archetype kept coming up. And I remembered like a little mantra about the death archetype, where the death archetype is totally not even what we think that it is, and it's kind of really beautiful. It's kind of really beautiful archetype. And one of the mantras that I learned from Shannon Port, who does these really cool sacred tarot archetypal podcasts, is the kingdom of heaven is alive within my flesh, or the kingdom of heaven lives within my flesh. And so, yeah, there's so much more to that, and I want to I'm going to work with that archetype this week and see what she has to offer and show me. And so, justice too. Justice was huge coming up. I feel like there's so much stuff, like, there's so much stuff. But I really did want to share like my biggest fears, like that's what I got to do. I got to face my fears, and that was like, something that I didn't realize, because I was like independence or avoidance. And so it's kind of like avoid dance. Okay, so what am I avoiding? What's my avoidance? And this is kind of funny to look into that. Like, what am I avoiding? Okay, I'll own it. I'll be accountable. And so I got to be accountable and look at it, and I just allowed it. Oh yeah, this is it. So part of me already knowing, that everything is perfect and in divine timing. So I was asking what I'm choosing. Like, what am I choosing that's not really for myself? Am I choosing things that are for my survival strategy, like for my security, for my image, like all of that, for my belonging, like what's not really in alignment with love for myself? And like, is it more for ego and for survival strategy? And it's okay that it is, but just recognize it. And it says, it was just like, I can let go of the wake up program. I saw it as a parrot, wake up, and realized it was an ego agenda for control, security, and a specific outcome attached, limiting what all can be and misdirecting my energy into thinking others have to change or wake up for me to be all right, or for all of we to be all right. And so, just really acknowledging that in more full ways, and just writing about it. Part of me already knowing that everything is imperfect and divine timing, but still feeling urgency and a desperate need to be heard and taken for my word, maybe taking myself too seriously. So I was willing to challenge this compulsion or impulse or survival strategy to alert others to their sleeping slavery, because I'm afraid of what it could mean if they don't choose. They don't choose to wake up or to trust themselves, really trust themselves, instead of the news, and start to view the awakened truth. And so what I was really scared of is that this mob mentality stuff, and I know I've gone through it before in other lifetimes, like with the concentration camps and stuff, and how they use scapegoats to create a boogeyman to justify genocide and all of that, all those lies. And so that's what I'm really having a hard time with, because I see all of it unfolding in those ways, with the psychological warfare and manipulation and disease. So It really makes me sad. And I just want people to understand and wake up to it, because they have good intentions, but their compassion is being exploited and misused and abused. And they don't understand what they're doing. They think it's righteous. They're confused. And so I can have compassion. I was really angry about it because of the trauma I've experienced, or the memory that I have about things. And just, it's in the collective too. We know what happens, like in genocide, when one group is scapegoated, and then later, you know, we lament about it and everything. How could this happen? But seeing it happen, it's so sad. I mean, it hasn't like really hit the fan yet, but it's like, you know, it's like kind of being, yeah, set up for that. And so I was really, this breaks my heart about it. And so that's okay, yeah, for me to acknowledge and to see like more into that, and to really feel to heal it and reveal it. So that's what I got to choose and do. And it was a huge thing, and I didn't realize I was gonna cry about this, because I didn't when I was doing my own internal thing about it, but maybe it's just expressing and sharing it and being vulnerable with, yeah, another. So yeah, the scapegoat and the monster, the villain, the asshole, the undesirable, the boogeyman, the lesser than the threat, the new pariah, the outcast, the lower class, the dehumanized, sacrificed through ignorance and compassionate genocide, while they sell themselves to tyrants. They will be seen as useful while they follow orders, go along and participate in their own mass extinction. Concentration FEMA camps and tyrannical, totalitarian control, technocratic enslavement of all, and manipulation, dishonoring life, nature, all fullness, and remaking it in their false image, or sanitized, artificial, manageable, medicated, predictable, controlled, dual to the extreme overstimulation to rule them all, bind them all, enslave them all, through their attention and their sins. And I'm not having that shit at all. No siree, Bob, and no, no thank you, ma'am. So it's been a hard road to follow, a burden to bear, but I choose to carry and release to help humanity, life, love, truth, be free, full, whole, all well, for all beings. Mercy, compassion, forgiveness, encourage being true, be a witness, be an example, as a sparrow, a dove, a lighthouse. Be ye as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. So that's me honoring my boundaries with love. So authenticity, vulnerability and integrity, accountability, responsibility, and belonging. So that was a lot of shit. A lot of shit. But there's a lot of gold in it. There's a lot of pain. But there's so much love. And so, yeah, one little message that kept coming back to me too was, the love that you withhold is the pain that you carry. And so, like, yeah, for some of these certain aspects, I knew I was withholding my love. And it was kind of funny how the miser was showing me that. The miser was cut off, yeah. And the miser with withholding, yeah. And so there was some parts of me that I got to forgive. So I got to forgive like the monster and the villain and the psychopath. And yeah, and also the ignorant one, because I also realized that everything that I'm aware of and that I've learned and that I've remembered, like, it didn't happen overnight. It took years and years and years and years. Like, it's taken my whole life, really. And I've healed a lot of shit, like, And it didn't happen overnight. And so if I can remember that too, like, again, can't just expect people to snap out of the lies, like, outright. Like, some people, maybe they can, that will be their experience, like, where all of a sudden they see the light. But sometimes it's just a gradual process, because that's what it's meant to be, you know, and it's always in transition, and there's always phases and stages of growth. So yeah, that's what patience. And so ant medicine was coming up for me to see too. Like ant and community and determination and dedication. Yeah. So that was good medicine for me. Like feeling like really small, like there's no way like we can, you know, change all of this or whatnot. But then just seeing like what ant can do. And then just knowing like that it's all okay, it's all true, and it's all gonna be okay, you know, but like just show up and be you. Choose love for you, you know. So and for the whole too, in service to the whole. And so that's what my focus is. So that's what I'll choose for me. Yeah. So that's honoring my boundaries with love and silliness and firm gentleness, while still holding my frequencies of love and being human with all my fullness, allness, wellness, freeness. It's the light, the mirror, and the reflection, the Trinity. How cool is that for me to see? And good questions and challenges for me to receive. Open, allow, integrate, and free. I release, I forgive, I allow. I surrender, I offer, I bow. I bow to love, I bow. With love to love, for love, in love. I am all that I am, my love. Love always, love always, love always. Love all that I am, always. And so, yeah, that was a huge, huge thing for me to get through and to break through, to see through, and yeah, to receive through, to open to. So there's this like, yeah, there's so many cool symbols and things and so many things that relate, but yeah, I feel like for now that was great, and it was all around on the wheel, and it's been so surreal. So it's funny, but yeah, there's so much more, and there's always going to be so much, and so it's all it is. Love is all it is, and so love all it is, free all it is. Bless all it is, bless the yes and bless the mess, because it's all love for all of we. And so even when it stinks and when it's scary and it hurts, yeah, there's always value, and it's what we get to create with it. Yeah, just be with it. Let it be what it is. Let it be all that it is. Let us be all that we are. Let's free all that we are, to love all that we are, so we can be all the love we are and all the love we need. So that's my journey of alchemy, and yeah, it's been a good one. It's been a good summer so far. There's so much that's been packed into this year so far. So it's been huge. Yeah, I'm grateful and humbled. Yeah. I'm actually hopeful too, and I'm looking forward to some things. I'm really excited about a lot of the opportunities coming up, and a lot of the gifts that are always unfolding and being offered. So let's open to receive what's being offered and given, and let's be willing, to see and to receive and to bless and to thank and to be open to all that's being offered and to all that we can create with it. And so, hey, let's be with it. And be well. Yeah, all is well and all is right. So be all well. We'll see you later. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.